Hey folks, doing another video of the Reef Octopus Biochurn 120R. This basically, I got this Biopellet reactor. I have one of those other ones, you know, where they, I think it's by Aquamax, old one from my previous GFO, but it wasn't all that. I wasn't, just didn't like the plumbing and whatnot of it, and it wasn't recirculating like this one is. As you can see, this here is the line that feeds into the water, and then this 1 inch is the out section, and then of course that right there is the pump of its own pump, so that way it can keep the biopellets churning independent of how much water is going through it. And one of the biggest problems people have with biopellets is the fact that you're not able to independently control how much water goes through the biopellets, which of course will determine how much nutrient it takes away. The more water that goes through it, the more nutrient that are taken out. And with most reactors, the problems you run into is the fact that you have to keep the media suspended, and the only way to keep the media suspended is you got to get a specific amount of water going through it. And basically what that means is you have no ability to control the amount of nutrients that are removed out of your system, and that's where people have issues with the fact that their tanks crash, or some of their soft corals don't do very well because their system essentially becomes way too clean, for lack of a better word. So when this comes in, it comes in such a fashion that you got to put the pump on there, but it's very simple. It's just a couple of these little unions that you got to screw. Now when it comes in initially, this little piece right here isn't glued onto this piece, and this is European, it's metric system, and so you need this adapter in order to convert it into the US 1 inch PVC. The same thing applies here into a 1/2 inch PVC that comes in. This again is a union, and like I said, right now the way I have things set up, I only have about probably less than a quarter of the amount of biopellets that I would need. It's been set up for about a month now, and the recommendation from a lot of people is, of course, that you want to keep the biopellets in there at about a quarter of the amount for about a month, maybe even 2 months, and then you can increase the biopellets slowly. And you want to do it slowly because it's a slow load. So I would say, you know, I'm going to double this amount come in probably about a month or so, and then wait a while, let those things kind of settle down, and then maybe add more until I get it to the goal. And as you can see, this right here is a nice little knob, and just when you turn it and you open it up, it really starts to churn. So that's one way of doing it. The other way, of course, is the good old-fashioned way of doing it, where you open up the water a little bit more, and as I do that, obviously the things are going to start to churn a lot more. But again, I don't want them to churn so much. You want them to basically be suspended, so that there are no dead spots. As you can see, once you come up here, this black right here is just a thumb screw, a regular plastic thumb screw. This mesh right here is a clear mesh, and when you want to add more pellets, well, there probably are a couple of ways of doing it, but you got to open these screws up and take this off, and that can actually be a little bit of a messy problem. That's, I think, the only negative that I can think of at the moment would be that that does get a little messy, because you gotta take this water out up to about here, take that thing out, put some more pellets in there. But again, you're doing that once maybe every 6 months or something, so it's not that big a deal. And then these of course come out, and I got it hard plumbed into everything. These are my BRS jumbo reactors. I'm trying to hard plumb them properly. One of them's got a leak, but I'll do another review on that in due time. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up as far as my biopellet reactor is concerned. And again, the thought behind this thing, of course, is that as there is a carbon source, the bacteria are going to grow, and they're going to grow on the surface of that thing, the biopellets, and as time goes, they're going to slop off, and they're going to go to your protein skimmer. And I have noticed actually that, one, my skimmate stinks. Two, it is a darker color, and I would say that there is more of it compared to before. But I've also noticed the cyano bloom going in there, which would make sense at this stage, that there would be a cyano bloom, because you're adding a carbon source, and there's plenty of the other nutrients, if they're in your system, like nitrates and phosphates. So you would think that those would grow on your substrate. So stay tuned for more updates.